This is my review of the 2025 Lexus GX550 and how it handled the rugged terrain of Colorado. Unlike most YouTubers who borrow press cars for free and then are obligated to say nice things, I bought this Lexus with my own money, so I can be fully transparent and truthful with you guys. The Lexus GX550 definitely turns heads. However, there were quite a few surprises and not all of them were good. This is Cars of Medicine, where I review and talk about luxury and exotic cars. So if you guys are interested in that sort of content, please consider subscribing. I'm going to start this review by telling you guys that once upon a time, I actually considered this car as a future vehicle. In my mind, the GX550 was basically the reliable Japanese Range Rover. But after this review, I sort of dashed those thoughts from my mind. Let's first talk about how the GX550 drives. Under the hood, we have a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 pushing out 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. On paper, that's an upgrade over the outgoing V8 when talking about performance, and the 10-speed automatic transmission helps the GX550 rev quickly while in the lower gears, and it has an impressive 0 to 60 time for such a large vehicle. The real issue with the GX550 is the ride quality, and I haven't seen other reviews talking about this. Even with Lexus's adaptive vehicle suspension, passengers in the back found it too bumpy, even on just normal city streets. The GX550 does not glide over imperfections like a true luxury SUV should, and the car had a vibration at higher speeds. I'm here doing the edit, and I don't think I was as harsh on the Lexus as I really needed to be after going through more and more comments online for saying things like, it feels like driving on a washboard road if you encounter even the slightest road imperfections. I have major hood flutter while driving 50 miles an hour and above. Their fix was a foam insert, which made things worse. Or this person who had the vehicle for 12 months saying it has a bad ride quality. I'm going down a smooth freeway, bouncing up and down. The transmission is inexcusable by any metric as well. This person saying, I acknowledge this may not even bother some people, but it doesn't change the fact that it should feel smoother than a 15-year-old 4Runner and countless other vehicles. I still love the truck, but this one thing has been a disappointment. Or this owner who said, I agree with you, hood flutter, brakes, engine roughness, cheap looking interior, loudness when driving. I would not do it over again. Sad, sad, sad. Or this owner who said, I got my GX luxury trim in April of 2024 and sold it because the ride was too rough for me. To basically top it all off, I found this comment saying that you bought an off-road vehicle posing as a luxury one. You should have done your research before falling in love with the body. I think a lot of soccer moms are going to fall into this trap. These comments really summarize my thoughts on the stiffness, the bumps, all of the stuff that we experienced for a few days driving around this GX550. It looks like a luxury SUV that inevitably drives like a crappy truck. At least that was my experience, and it almost reminded me of my time driving an ambulance. I would describe the steering of the GX550 as disconnected. Although it was easy to maneuver for such a large vehicle, there was none of that confident, planted feel that I would get from driving similar German competitors like the Audi Q7. I feel like the GX550 drives just okay, maybe a bit below average. So if you're looking for a premium highway cruiser, there are better SUVs out there. The ride height gives you that commanding view of the road, and you're seated pretty high up, so you have a good view of your surroundings. The situational awareness from the driver's seat is definitely a plus. But what about that off-roading experience? It rocks. This is where the GX reminds you it is still a Toyota at heart. We took the GX550 up Pikes Peak and did some mild trail driving to reach remote hiking locations. The body-on-frame construction and four-wheel drive system handled rough gravel, inclines, and uneven paths like a champ. I even found owners praising how the GX550 handles the snow, and it's more capable than a lot of buyers will ever need. Also, it has pretty good towing capacity, if that's something that you're interested in. Next up, looking at the exterior, I think Lexus did this properly. This is easily the highlight of this entire SUV. Compared to the prior generation, I love the boxy shape and redesign of the GX into the modern era. This version here is in the sharp atomic silver paint paired with these alloy wheels that add an extra luxury presence. Lexus also gave us these large side steps to help you get into the SUV, and we have sleek LED headlights and an aggressive looking front grille design here. I say this about a lot of vehicles that I review, but it definitely holds up here. The Lexus looks expensive, it turns heads. Exterior view of the car is its highlight. That is probably one of the reasons why we'll get drawn to this Lexus. Once you get inside, things get a bit different. Yes, you have all the standard interior cubbies and seat adjustments that you need as a front seat passenger, and the cabin at first glance appears upscale. It seems to be a very modern Lexus layout. But once you start actually touching everything, you realize plastics aren't great, the leather is fake, it was not as supple as you would expect at this price point. I definitely think they were going for durability over comfort. We also have nice luxury features like heated and ventilated seats, but the overall feel wasn't truly luxurious. My wife immediately said that this did not feel like a $70,000 interior, and honestly, I agree. And I found other people online who were similarly disappointed with the interior quality of the GX compared to Land Rover, Genesis, Audi, and other models. That said, I did not test the Luxury Plus trim, which adds things like a semi-alanine leather, basically a coated leather with good durability, premium Mark Leveson sound system, and softer touch points. Maybe that would have changed the experience, but then you have to ask, is it worth $12,000 more to you? And I'm sure some people would just prefer to deal with the compromise. The Lexus has other driving assists like a pre-collision system, radar cruise control, lane keep assist, and automatic high beams. One feature that absolutely drove me wild was the sensors that would track your eye movements, and if you happen to look anywhere other than straight ahead for a tad too long, it would beep at you. One time I was just checking my mirrors and it beeped at me. I'm sure there will be a non-zero number of divorces due to this feature. If we look into the infotainment, it was responsive and intuitive, though a bit boring visually. Plus, it has wireless Apple CarPlay, which worked just fine, and I had no issue connecting my devices. Unfortunately, a lot of the main climate controls are still in the main screen, which is a dislike for me. For the driver, I did like the Lexus digital display cluster, and you have all your buttons needed on the steering wheel. The Lexus also has paddle shifters, but to be honest with you, I don't really remember if I used them or not. Overall, I found the interior to be functional, not necessarily flashy, and some people said it was a bit more Toyota than Lexus, if that makes any sense. Next, if we look at the cargo, the comfort, the practicality, from a practical standpoint, the Premium Plus GX550 delivers. You've got seating for 7, and the space for rear seat passengers is impressive for adults. However, you already know that the third row will be for children or smaller adults. The cargo area is wide and flat, with plenty of room for gear, luggage, or a few dogs. This is actually one of the SUVs I reviewed where I would call the cargo capacity good. What is a huge con would be the fuel economy. They're saying the Lexus can hold 21 gallons of gas and has an estimated fuel economy of 17 miles per gallon on average, which is bad and is going to cost you money. This is how I would rate the Lexus GX550 on my Cars of Medicine scale, and you guys can see a spreadsheet of all my car ratings by checking the link in the video description down below. So who is this 2025 Lexus GX550 really for? I guess the real appeal is for those still wanting to hold on to the idea of Toyota reliability above all other metrics. You expected a buttoned up luxury SUV that drives impeccably for a fair price, you're going to be disappointed. So that is my honest take on the 2025 Lexus GX550, the Premium Plus trim. My long story short of this review would be to make sure you guys go at least check out one or two of these other SUVs. You guys might come out liking those other models more than this Lexus. If you enjoyed this no BS real world review of the Lexus GX550, please consider hitting that like button down below. Also guys, consider subscribing to the channel for more unfiltered takes on these luxury cars that we are reviewing here. And guys, as always, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.